6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj, assisted by Sanjaya and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The President advises relevant officials to implement the recommendations given in the Presidential Commission report on the Easter Sunday attack before the 21st of April. The accepted vehicle assembling procedure released. The Prime Minister emphasises the importance of taking the Made in Sri Lanka brand to the world countries. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna says it is committed to safeguard the interest of the war heroes. In coronavirus news, 248 new cases reported yesterday. The confirmed COVID cases in Sri Lanka surpass 88,000. The GMOA proposes to reimpose travel restrictions. 5 more die of COVID-19. The death toll surges to 532. Minister Professor G.L. Peiris says the Yahapalana government failed to control madrasas. In foreign news, continue using AstraZeneca vaccine, says the WHO. In sports news, the remaining India-England T20 is to be played behind closed doors. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa advises relevant officials to implement the recommendations given in the Presidential Commission report on the Easter Sunday attack before the 21st of April. The Education Minister, Professor G.L. Peiris, told the media that the President has given instructions in this regard. The President also emphasized the importance of providing justice to the affected people in the Easter Sunday attacks. The President also instructed the relevant officials to commit themselves to provide justice to the affected people without delay. The President also advised the authorities to arrest the suspects of the Easter Sunday attacks and bring them to the book. The accepted vehicle assembling procedure is released. The function to launch this procedure was held yesterday. Minister Vimal Veeravansa presented the guidelines of the procedure to Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa yesterday. The vehicle assembling process will commence in Sri Lanka according to these guidelines. Speaking at this occasion, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa emphasized the importance of taking the Made in Sri Lanka brand to the world countries. This concept will promote Sri Lanka in the international arena. Thereby, the entrepreneurs and the Sri Lankan producers will benefit immensely by possessing a market share in the international market. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna says it is committed to safeguard the interest of the war heroes. The SLBC General Secretary Parliamentarian Sagara Karyavasam made these remarks while addressing a media conference yesterday at the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna headquarters in Battaramulla, addressing media personnel. Mr. Karyavasam further said the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna is of the opinion to safeguard the sovereignty and the integrity of the country while protecting the security forces of this nation. The SLBC will not leave any room for fundamentalism or separatism. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Sri Lanka has registered 70 more positive cases of COVID-19 yesterday, the Ministry of Health confirmed. Thereby, Sri Lanka has detected 248 new positive cases of COVID-19 within the day. As per statistics, the total number of COVID-19 infections confirmed so far in the country now stands at 88,155. Recoveries from the virus, meanwhile, climbed to 84,969 earlier yesterday, as 321 more patients regained health. However, 2,659 active cases are still under medical care at select hospitals and treatment centres located across the island. The total lives claimed by the pandemic outbreak sits at 532 at present. The Government Medical Officers Association proposes to reimpose travel restrictions to curtail the spread of the COVID-19 virus. Dr. Samantha Ananda, the Assistant Secretary of the GMOA, points out that the movement of the population in Colombo may increase with the incoming crowd from the other districts during the upcoming festive season. This would flare up the infection spread in Colombo once again, he added. Thereby, there is a great importance of re-implementing travel restrictions, Dr. Samantha Ananda said. 5 more COVID-19 deaths were reported yesterday, increasing the death toll in the country to 532, the Government Information Department said. Accordingly, an 86-year-old female from Jaffna, a 76-year-old female from Gampaha, a 61-year-old male from Kochikade, a 78-year-old male from Pamanugama, and a 94-year-old female from Kaluthan North passed away owing to the virus. The Yahapalanaya government did not make any attempt to find what was being taught at the Islamic schools, religious schools known as madrasas, nor did they take steps to control them, the Education Minister Professor G.L. Pires said. Addressing the media, he said nearly 2,000 madrasas are in operation in every area of the country. The previous government had failed to find as to what were the subjects being taught at the madrasas, the syllabi, and about the teachers who taught at those madrasas. During the Yahapalana regime, nearly 600 individuals had visited the country to teach Islamic subjects in those madrasas. However, during the Rajapaksa government, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who was the then Defence Secretary, never allowed them to enter the country, and he had a good relationship with the officers at the Immigration and Emigration Department and at the Intelligence Service, the minister said. If anyone applied for a visa to visit the country to teach at these institutions, their background was sought thoroughly. But the Yahapalanaya regime abolished all these procedures. They issued visas immediately at the airport without conducting any inquiry or asking any questions, Minister Pires said.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vedha Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedha Mahatmya.
Job opportunities to the Sri Lankans in Japan will be increased. The main objective of this exercise is to provide more job opportunities to the youth of this country. Sri Lankans who qualify in the JLPT or NAT exam will be provided with good job opportunities in Japan without any charge. Those interested may contact 0112 789367 for more details about this free foreign job opportunity.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedha Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watchlight, the residents of Dehivala, Mount Lavinia complain that garbage is not collected on time along certain inner roads. This has caused immense difficulties to the motorists and residents of the area. This has created a health hazard in certain areas too. This is for the attention of the Dehivala Municipal Council.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In world news headlines, continue using AstraZeneca vaccine, says the WHO. Myanmar military extends martial law after bloodiest day since coup. Apocalyptic skies as Beijing hit by worst sandstorm in a decade. The World Health Organization has urged countries not to pause COVID vaccines as several major EU member states halted their rollouts of the Oxford AstraZeneca jab. It said there was no evidence of a link between the vaccine and blood clots. Germany, France, Italy and Spain joined smaller nations in halting vaccinations as a precaution while checks are made. The WHO's vaccine safety experts are meeting on Tuesday to discuss the jab. Myanmar's military has imposed martial law across more districts around the country following the deadliest day of protests since February's coup. About 50 people were reported killed when troops and police opened fire on protesters in various areas on Sunday. Most deaths were in Yangon. Protesters are demanding the release of ousted civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi. She heads the National League for Democracy, which saw a landslide victory in elections last November. The Chinese capital of Beijing was covered in thick dust on Monday as it experienced what its weather bureau has called the worst sandstorm in a decade. The storm caused an unprecedented spike in air pollution measurements, with pollution levels in some districts at 160 times the recommended limit. Hundreds of flights were cancelled or grounded as the sky was covered by an apocalyptic-looking orange haze. The sand is being brought in by strong winds from Mongolia. And now the main points of the World News segment once again. Continue using AstraZeneca vaccine, says the WHO. Myanmar military extends martial law after bloodiest day since coup. Apocalyptic skies as Beijing hit by worst sandstorm in a decade.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
And now in development news, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka plans to introduce a work plan to improve the economy of the country. A special lecture in this regard will be held on Thursday via Zoom technology. The lecture will be delivered by Professor Nalin Abhisekara. Those who wish to participate and to get more details about this workshop may contact 0112 477840. That was development news. And now in sports news. The remaining 3 T20Is between India and England in Ahmedabad will be played behind closed doors due to increasing number of corona cases. The BCCI and the Gujarat Cricket Association made the decision on Monday after the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation ordered the closure of shops, malls, restaurants and salons after 10 p.m. in 8 wards of the city to control the spread of COVID-19. According to the corporation, the city had 530 active cases as of 11 a.m. yesterday.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Ministry of Industries launched the Standard Operating Procedure SOP for local assembly of vehicles and automotive component manufacturing to encourage world-renowned brands to locally assemble vehicles. This historic SOP launched yesterday by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and the Minister of Industries Vimal Veeravanse is expected to save over 300 billion rupees annually from the import of vehicles' automotive spare parts. The SOP includes guidelines and standards for registration at the Department of Motor Traffic, BOI, Sri Lanka Customs and the Ministry of Industries and for the local assembly of vehicles.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic News, courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. It will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The total number of international tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka during February 2021 was 3,366. Sri Lanka reopened its borders on the 21st of January 2021 following a 10-month pandemic-induced closure since March 18, 2020. In comparison to February last year, there was a decline of 98.4% when the arrivals were 207,507. As at February 28, 2021, 5,048 tourists have visited Sri Lanka for this year. It is a decline of 98.8% over last year, when 435,941 tourists have visited the country during the same period. The figures reflect the unprecedented health, social and economic crisis caused by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
No, Amma. We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
Oh, really? How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy. She might be feeling very uncomfortable. The airport must be heavily crowded because it's a season.
Amma, calm down. Everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge. There's nothing to worry.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And now for the weather report. The Met Department says showers will occur at several places in the eastern, Uva and north central provinces and in the Nuwara and Matale districts. Thundershowers will occur at several places in the Sabaragama and western provinces and in the Gala, Matara and Kandy districts during the evening or night. Fairly heavy falls above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places in these areas. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the central, Sabaragama, Uva and western provinces and during the morning. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize the damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers. This weather report was issued this morning at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. That was the weather report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The President advises relevant officials to implement the recommendations given in the Presidential Commission report on the Easter Sunday attacks before the 21st of April. The accepted vehicle assembling procedure released. The Prime Minister emphasizes the importance of taking the Made in Sri Lanka brand to the world countries. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna says it is committed to safeguard the interest of the war heroes. In coronavirus news, 248 new cases reported yesterday. The confirmed COVID-19 cases in Sri Lanka surpass 88,000. The GMOA proposes to reimpose travel restrictions. 5 more die of COVID-19, the death toll surges to 532. Minister Professor G.L. Pires says the Yahapalana government failed to control madrasas. In foreign news, continue using the AstraZeneca vaccine, says the WHO. In sports news, the remaining India-England T20I is to be played behind closed doors. That concludes this news broadcast, and now is, as always on a Tuesday morning, over to Sound the Thavam on the other side.